even though I knew that my father loved me, there was never a display of love. I don't ever remember him once in my life saying, I love you. And then as I got to the stadium or to the field, I got out of the car and went into the locker room, and I turned around, that was the first time I've ever heard him say, I love you. And he just drove away. He was so crushed as a kid with his father dying as an alcoholic when he was 13, when he just had no source of, and he was a great guy. I never had that source of affection from my father, physical affection. There was never the other very quick story is when I, in my second year of high school, get into a game where I hadn't been playing at all in football, and he would usually be negative about my football lack of playing experience. And lo and behold, the New York Times takes a picture of me breaking off tackle and scoring 15-yard run. And I went and got the paper, and I had it laid out in our kitchen, on our kitchen table, and he came home from work at 4 o'clock. And even back then, I was 14, 15, I set him up. And the big star of the team was a guy by the name of Ercolino. And I said, Dad, you're not going to believe this. There is a picture of Jerry Ercolino in the New York Times running for 15 yards. And he's fumbling for his glasses in his pocket. And he finally gets them and he puts them on. And he says, those guineas, they can run. They can run. They develop very early in life. And as he goes to get the glasses, he puts them on. It takes him maybe 3 or 4 seconds, and he starts reading the passes underneath the picture. And his response is, what the hell did they take your picture for? That's a true story.
What'd you tell him? What'd you say to him?
If that isn't a confidence builder, there is no such thing.
What'd you say to him, though?
I don't know. I was so. He tried then to put a little humor on the twist on the end of it, but it was like a knife in my heart.
Yeah.
And I didn't say, Dad, what? Back then you didn't say, Dad, you're such a jerk.
Yeah.
Which most kids today would say to their parents. They'd say,
Yeah.
But never could he ever say, you're really good. You're really good.
He wouldn't say, I'm proud of you, or.
No, that wasn't in his vocabulary. In his vocabulary was, what the heck are you doing in that picture? And till this day, I have that picture.
Hey, Grandpa.
Hey, gingerbread boy. How you doing? Hey, Snowball. How's my boys?
Good.
Everything good?
Yeah.
Huh? You been going to school this year?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. You're the best. Look at these guys.
Who was your best friend? Who was your best friend in class?
Probably little Audie Kerwin, who sat behind me, and that's how I discovered that I was walking around with a haircut that was from the prehistoric ages. My father cut my hair all his life to save money from the barber shop. And one day I was sitting in class, the only guy that had the nerve to say it. And he was sitting behind me and he whispered in my ear, he says, hey man, what the hell's wrong with the back of your head? I said, what do you mean what's wrong with my back of my head? He says, it's all screwed up. He said, it's all screwed up. He says, yeah man, you got lines going up and down and sideways. He says, it looks really weird. I said, I don't get it. My father cuts my hair and he does a beautiful job. And he shows it to me with the mirror in the back. He says, well, he may think it's a beautiful job. He says, but that's the weirdest haircut I've ever seen in my life.
Your dad used to fuck your hair up.
I said, Artie, I'm gonna kick your ass when we get out of class. Every time they wanted to go to the bathroom, you had to wait until the whole class went together. Now it's gurgling, man. I'm feeling it and I'm dying, and I put my hand up one more time. And she said, I said to put your hand down. Well, with the third time, I put my hand down, and I don't know how to describe it, but a slight explosion took place. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting there, and I said, I'm in real trouble, because it was something that the aroma was starting to whip up through the class. And I figured out, what do I do here? And I had this little chubby kid that sat next to me, Henry Roman. And poor Henry became the victim of this situation, because I knew I had to beat everyone in the class to the aroma. And all of a sudden I looked over at Henry and I go, Henry, what the hell did you do, man? And with that, the whole class, Henry Roman shit in his pants, man. And the whole thing started to spread. And the poor kid, Henry's sitting there and he's going, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. I said, Henry, come on. Be honest with us. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. And I never forget this stuff. I said, Henry, you shouldn't be making up a story like that. It's not right. It wasn't me. Finally, they let us go to the bathroom. I ran outside, got on my bicycle, raced home, walked in the house, changed my underwear, got back on my bike, and made it back to school. The relationship that I had, even though I knew that my father loved me, there was never a display of love. And I don't think a day goes by when I'm around my grandsons and my son when there isn't some sign of affection.